iconic cinema in East Finchley, North London, has seen pro-Palestinian campaigners call to boycott the Seret Film Festival and a private showing of a film documenting the Hamas terror attack at the Nova Music Festival on October the 7th.
Well, the graffitiing of the venue saw a pro-Israeli counter-protest after "No to Art" washing was scrawled on the legendary cinema. Well, Josh Howie was one of those who attended the counter-protest. Delighted to say that he joins us now. Josh, this was, I suppose, an uplifting moment of a community coming together, but in response to something pretty horrific.
Yeah, I know. I don't like automatically bringing up Nazi Germany, but that kind of graffiti was the kind of graffiti that existed back then. And so seeing it, I think, really stirred a lot of people. And I was at the counter-protest on Saturday, where it was about 100 Jews with, about 100,000 sort of pro-Hamas protesters walking by. It was a horrific 3 hours of racism and hatred directed to us. So as I approached yesterday evening to the cinema, I was genuinely kind of shielding myself internally again to face this kind of onslaught of hate. And then when we got there, it was like the rest of the North London Jewish community had sort of heard the call and came out, and it was dancing and Israeli flags and some British flags and just dancing in the street and celebrating. And it was like the tables had flipped, and finally just enough Jews just coming together to go, enough is enough. We've had this hatred on our streets every weekend, and as you can see in this clip here, it's sort of like escorting the sort of pro-Hamas protesters back to the tube station. It was an amazing feeling, and then we just got to kind of dance in the street afterwards. Basically
booting them out of East Finchley. And I know this area of London very well. You don't usually see this type of thing outside the tube station there on the high street with all the shops and everything going on. But I was watching this yesterday evening, watching all these clips coming out of this and thinking, how do these people who have taken it upon themselves to graffiti a cinema for showing a film about the Hamas attacks possibly see themselves as the good people, the virtuous people in this? This is pure and simple anti-Semitism and intimidation, isn't it, really?
Well, exactly. And there was another protest outside of Hampstead cinema, I think, about a week ago. And it was much less people turned out. It was much, but I think this graffiti really sort of was a real wake-up call to people, that the silent majority that has to sort of come out. And you see from this little clip of me just turning the camera around like that, every weekend we see a photo of a few kind of as a Jew cranks and a bunch of fake Jews at these, like say, these pro-Hamas protests, and anti-Semites get to kind of use them as this kind of tokenism of like, look, not all Jewish people support Israel, but this is the Jewish community who came out. These are this is the Jewish community that I'm part of. Our synagogues, our schools, and it was just so.
Well, Josh, do you not accept that there are Jewish people who are anti-Israel or on the pro-Palestinian side of this debate?
A handful. The idea that they're representative in any way of the Jewish community is absolutely ridiculous. And there's more people pretending to be Jewish to embolden the anti-Semites, to make them go, oh, no, look, there are Jewish people over there. So actually, no, we're not anti-Semitic at all. And it's just
so you think there are people at these protests actually pretending to be Jewish?
Well, absolutely. You see them. They have, at best, a tenuous connection to, like, a great-grandfather who might have been Jewish or whatever, and they use that as some kind of shield to protect the accusations of racism. But we saw it within the Labour Party. We've seen it online. So many people, like one of the biggest Twitter accounts, pumping out hatred towards it. It's called Torah Judaism. And everybody goes, oh, look, these are religious Jews and they're anti-Israel. And it turns out it's some guy in Turkey.
Whatever the case with that and the makeup of the pro-Palestine protest, this type of intimidation in a pretty Jewish area of London, and as you say, another cinema was targeted the other week just for showing some films from Israeli films. I mean, it is just well, thank you for going out there and supporting the cinema and supporting your community, because it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Josh Howie, thank you very much indeed for joining us.